So welcome to those of you on YouTube joining us. Welcome to your YouTube Live. So I can see a few more people have joined the yoga now. So it's really great to see you guys here. So just giving people just a moment or two before we start. Okay, so just a reminder for those of you that came in a little bit later, in terms of props that you might need for today, you might want to have a couple of cushions, a blanket, like I mentioned before, that you can roll up and use as a sausage, like a bolster, and then a yoga block or a book that you can use to support you a little bit more there. So I'm Leah, and I am one of the co-founders of the Birth Collective. I am an obstetrics and gynecology doctor, and I am also a pregnancy yoga teacher. So yeah, I teach pregnancy yoga, and I also have a YouTube channel. So if you want to practice a little bit more, there's some shorter videos there. And of course, on our online full antenatal course as part of the Birth Collective, we have a whole module on yoga. So we basically have 3 classes. So a class for each trimester, and then there's a whole load of stuff about the various aches and pains that you might have in pregnancy, so sciatica and pelvic girdle pain and carpal tunnel syndrome, so just going through why you get those things and yoga poses that might be helpful to that. So that's definitely worth checking out. And you also, as part of this course, you're going to get your positive birth code. So positive birth is your 30% off if you want to check out our full online antenatal course. So let's get started with this class. Just to say, obviously there's quite a few of you that have joined this class. I can't see you. So as with all online courses, then really listen to your body. Do what works for you. I'm going to give a few modifications, alterations that you can use to help you. So really listen to what's happening in your body and don't push yourself. Don't do anything that hurts, and stop if anything feels uncomfortable, you don't feel good with it. So it's really about embodying what's going on in your own body, connecting with your breath, and hopefully having a little bit of a breakaway from everything that's going on in the world right now. Just taking some time out for you, yeah, just having a little bit of a break from it all. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm just gonna make sure we're all okay with the screen. Yeah. So get your props all ready to the side. And we're going to start in a lying position, which might be quite nice for some of you if you've had a long day. So if you want to come down, if you feel uncomfortable, if you're later in pregnancy and you feel uncomfortable lying on your back, you can come to lie on your side. So what I would do is either take your couple of cushions or your bolster and lie on your left side and place your right knee onto the bolster or the cushions there. So it's more for those of you that are over 20 weeks. So you can feel a bit dizzy sometimes when you're lying on your back. It's fine and safe to lie for short periods of time on your back. The recommendation is not to fall asleep on your back. So it's okay to exercise. There's no evidence to suggest that's a damaging thing in pregnancy. So if you're happy to lie on your back, then I would come to lie on your back, and you might want to take your blanket now. I've got all these props, so I'm going to move them out the way a little bit. So maybe place your blanket under your head. And you're just going to support yourself to come to a lying position. So bring your knees to a bend there, so about a 90-degree angle. So you don't want them super far in, so about halfway in. Feet are parallel and toes point towards the end of your mat. And then just maybe place your hands at your hips, so at that space between the top of the hip crease and the pelvic bone. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And then sigh out through the mouth. Take another big inhale through the nose, and then this time just
As you sigh out, close down the eyes. And taking another deep inhale here, breathing in through the nose and allowing the belly to be soft as it swells, and then exhaling, sighing out. No one can hear you, so just breathing out. As you start to let the breath settle now, just allow the breathing to come to its own natural pattern. So just breathing in and out through the nose now. And feel the sacrum, the lower back, soften into the mat. And allow the shoulders to drop back and be heavy. And the psoas muscle, the big muscle that runs from the spine into the hips, just is underneath your hands here. It's a really strong muscle that often is quite tense and tight. So just breathing into this space here and allowing that to release and soften. And as your breath starts to soften, start to scan through the body. So beginning at the crown of the head, moving down through into the jawline, into the neck, into the shoulders. And then starting to just connect with what's going on in the body right now. So noticing sensations as you move into the arms, into the chest and upper back, and down into the lower back. And as you check in, seeing if you can notice what's happening in the body without allowing that distraction, the mind to start wandering down that pathway. It's a natural tendency for that to happen, to get caught up in thoughts of the day or connecting emotions into those physical sensations. Seeing if you can try to detach from that. So just noticing them with an interested observance, and then just allowing the mind to pass on, moving down through the upper back, lower back, around to the pelvis. And you're just going to pause for a moment here, connecting in with your baby. And noticing your baby's movements. Maybe it's the first time today, maybe things have been busy, been fraught. So just really embracing this moment where you can connect into your baby and just have this pause. And this is a really good time to set an intention for your practice. So here we're cultivating something that you perhaps need a little more in your life right now. So we do this by just listening into the body, not thinking too hard here, just observing what you might need now. And just, that's a word or two words just to connect, just to always draw your focus back to as we move through our practice today. And if nothing springs to mind, struggling, don't stress. We just have a collective intention here. And something that might be nice to focus on is that pause. So with the world in a bit of chaos right now, things are turned upside down and can often seem stressful or uncertain as we move through life. But there's also a lot more time to reflect because of this. And in those moments of reflection, we have a little pause to be present, to find the peace. So just slow down. And so trying to connect more with those pauses. And using that perhaps as your intention, as your practice today. Moving down now through into the thighs, hamstrings, into the legs and feet. Noticing the whole body. And then beginning to connect into the breath. So not altering the breath at all here. We're just going to Allow the breath to flow in its natural rhythm and just follow that rise and fall of the breath. Notice how the breath feels as it moves in through the nostrils, into the lungs. Finding expansion as you breathe in and a softening release as you exhale. And starting to now maybe control the breath a little more. So breathing a little more fully, and in yoga we breathe in and out through the nose. And that might feel a little weird to begin with, so just again following the breath, and as you inhale, finding expansion into the belly, into the rib cage, into the collarbones. And then as you exhale, softening in reverse, so collarbones, rib cage, and belly falls. Finding an opening as you breathe in, belly, rib cage, collarbones, the lungs fill fully. And then exhaling, reversing that wave of breath, collarbones, rib cage, and belly. And taking 2 more breaths like this. Finding that ripple of breath as you move up the body into the top of the lungs, and then exhaling, moving down and maybe gently drawing your baby towards your spine as you exhale, expelling the air. And taking 1 last breath here. And with this exhale, just sighing out this time through the mouth, letting it all go. And choosing to just focus in. And here, just either keeping the eyes closed or maybe opening them if you'd like to. We're going to just shift, if you're on your left side, gently roll onto your back now. Move your props out of the way. And we're going to start mobilize the spine. So just wiggle the heels a little bit closer now towards the bum. And we're going to start to shift through the spine. As you inhale, find this gentle arching of the lower back and the belly swells. As you exhale, drawing the belly down towards the mat, tailbone tilts up towards the ceiling. Take another one here, inhaling, arching through that lower back and puffing the chest. Exhaling, finding connection with the spine as you roll down, pressing the lower back into the floor. Last one. And finding connection with breath so you move fluidly here. And then now we're going to push into the feet, and we're going to start to shift up through the hips, so lifting the hips towards the ceiling. We're not going to go really strong here because we're just starting to move the spine, so we're just moving gently and exhaling, rounding down through the spine, so rippling the spine towards the floor. Push into the floor with the feet as you inhale, lift the hips. Draw the front of the thighs long towards the front of the mat, and then exhaling, rounding down through the spine. Take another 3 here, inhaling, lifting up. Start to, as you mobilize the spine a little more, maybe push into the feet, engage the bum, draw the hips up, exhaling, 1 vertebra at a time as you roll down. 1 last one here, push into the feet equally between the front and the back of the foot, lengthen through the front of the thighs to the front of the mat, drop the shoulders down, exhaling, rounding all the way down towards the floor. We're going to take another one here. As you inhale, lift the hips, and we're going to pause here for a moment. Push down, so palms towards the floor, and then lift up with the hips a little higher, engage the bum. Open through the chest, breathing here, and then extending the right leg, so you're shifting the weight into the left leg. This may feel a little imbalanced and awkward here. We're just here for a moment, flex through the heel, and then cross the right ankle over the left knee as you soften the bum back towards the floor. Now, this is a moment where you might want that strap or that tea towel if you've grabbed one. You're going to draw the left knee in towards the chest, and we're going to take a grip around the left thigh. So here you might want that tea towel or that strap to extend your grip. Push your right elbow into your right thigh and flex through both feet. I'm just going to pause for a breath or 2 here. So notice that maybe your sacrum, your lower back is lifting off the floor a lot here. See if you can soften that down. So as you breathe, see if you can breathe into that area a little bit more.
And then as you start to connect with the breath again, breathing in and out through the nose. As you inhale, you're just going to move your thigh half an inch away, finding that space that you've created as you breathe in through your belly. As you exhale, draw the thigh a little closer now towards your chest. And take another one here, inhaling. So micro movements as we breathe in and out. Exhaling, drawing knee towards your chest. Inhaling. And exhaling, knee towards your chest. And take another 3 here. Exhaling. And one more breath as you inhale, move away a little. And exhaling, drawing in, finding that stretch through the outer thigh. Release the grip and keep the feet exactly as they are. And then you're just going to tilt over towards the left side. So the flat of the foot is coming straight down to the floor, and you're keeping that same position with the legs as you had them up when you were on your back. And then we're just going to come into a nice open twist here. So bring your arms wide. So you can either bend at the elbow or straighten your arms, whatever you have space for. And we're taking 3 deep breaths here. And as you breathe in, see if you can open and expand the chest, dropping that right shoulder towards the floor. As you exhale, soften into the right bum cheek here. So just breathing into this area where you might be holding a little more tension. And taking another one. And exhaling, releasing that grip on the bum. And then taking that inhale as you come back towards your center again. Releasing the right foot down towards the floor. And you're going to come into the opposite side. So as you push into the feet, lift up through the hips, inhaling, lengthen through the front of the thighs. Take a pause here, just breathe for another breath. Open and find maybe release of tension in the jaw here. So as you hold and you're strengthening through those muscles, avoiding that tension that you may be carrying elsewhere in the body. As you inhale next time, lifting that left leg up, flexing through the heel, and then crossing the left ankle over the right knee, soften the bum down towards the floor. And taking that grip on the other side, so maybe taking that T-towel, maybe holding on to the back of the leg with the hands, whatever works for you. And then we're going to start to just take some breaths here. Breathing in and out, just allowing the lower back to soften towards the floor. And as you start to release that grip, that tension maybe in the lower back, you maybe start to move a little more now. So as you inhale and your belly expands, find a space and opening and allow the leg to move away a little. As you exhale, draw the knee towards the chest. And inhaling, finding opening as you shift the leg half an inch away from the body. And then exhaling, drawing back towards the chest. And taking 2 more here. And breathing in and out through the nose, finding always that connection of breath and movement. And then on the next exhale, releasing the grip of the leg and bringing the arms out to the side, keeping the legs exactly as they are in that figure 4 position as you tilt the whole body over to the right side. And the left foot is going to be flat onto the floor here. So the leg is not collapsing towards the body here, it's pointing upwards. And if anything, it's trying to direct towards the toe end of your mat. And taking 3 deep breaths here, and again, finding that softening, checking in with that area of the outer hip into the buttock. And breathing into that area of tension and tightness here, and seeing if you can just release that and soften it down. And breathing deeply, expanding through the chest as you inhale and exhaling, softening through the hip and into the upper body. One last breath here. Really nice. And pushing back up and releasing the cross, roll all the way to your left side. And then we're just going to roll all the way back up. So coming to your tabletop now. So if you've got that blanket, you might want to put it under your knees, depending on what surface you're practicing on. I've got a bit of a wood floor here and a
thin mat, so I'm going to put it under my knees for a bit of extra cushioning. And just bring your book or your block nearby. And we're just going to take a child's pose just for a moment. So this is where your cushions might come in handy. So toes touch and knees come wide, and you're going to sit your heels back, to your bum back towards your heels. And then maybe bring this cushion or a block, whatever you've got handy, just bring it maybe underneath where your boobs are, under your breast and your chest, and then bring your head to the side here. Sit back and just soften the eyes, breathing in. And finding that connection with that intention you set at the beginning of the class again. And finding a stillness, a softness here. And taking one more breath. And then pushing back up. Find your legs in parallel. Move the cushions to the side here. So hands are directly under the shoulders, knees are under hips, and your hips are knees are hip width apart. Spread the fingers really wide here. So you've got a really, like a starfish almost, palm here, rather than the fingers together. So you're grounding down with the heels of the hands and the fingertips. Hug your baby into your spine, and we're going to come into some cat-cow. So inhaling, gliding the chest forward and belly drops to the floor. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under and rounding through the spine, dropping the head. Take another inhale, lengthening through the front of the body into the chest, shoulders draw away from the ears. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under, rounding through the spine, dropping the head. Taking 3 more here, inhaling, starting to move the spine a little more now. Exhaling. Taking an inhale for 2. And exhaling for 2. Taking one last breath here for 3. And exhaling, tailbone rounds, spine rounds and puffs up, head drops, and then coming back to your neutral position. Taking your right leg behind you, flexing through the heel. I'm going to be mirroring you through the class, so I'll call out the leg that you need, so just mirror what I'm doing. Inhaling, let that leg extend back behind you and lift off the floor. Check in on your hips and see if they're level here. As you exhale, draw your knee towards your chest and push into your hands. As you inhale, extend that heel back. Exhaling, drawing knee to chest, push into hands. Inhaling, extending back. Now we can either stay like this, or maybe you're going to add in the arm. So extend the left arm forward, reach with the fingertips and reach with the heel as if there's this long line pulling from the front to the back. Exhaling, drawing elbow to knee or just the knee, whichever feels more stable and okay for you. Extend again. As you exhale, drawing in towards the center of the body, hugging in. Inhaling, extending out. And taking one more. And inhaling, extending. Placing the left hand back on the floor, keeping that right leg lifted, and then flexing the heel here. So you've got a flexed ankle and a flexed knee, and you're going to push up a little bit more, engaging through the thigh into the bum cheek. And then either staying here or maybe shifting the weight into the right hand again, and sliding the left arm back to hold onto the right foot, sorry. Pushing the foot into the hand and stretching through the front of the thigh. Taking an inhale, puffing through the chest. See if that left shoulder can draw a little more to the front of the room. Taking one more breath. And exhaling with care, releasing the foot. Place the left hand onto the floor and allow the inside arch of that right foot to rest on the mat. Swing the left shin out to the side of the mat and then sweep the right arm up towards the ceiling. So lift up with the fingertips here. Push into that supporting arm and open and rotate the chest around towards the ceiling. And breathing for 3 here. And looking up towards the palm, towards the ceiling. And then maybe lifting that right leg off the floor, flexing through the heel. Reach the right arm overhead, so you're extending and opening through the right side of the body.
Breathe into the right rib cage. Taking 2 more breaths. Really nice. From here, placing the right foot to the floor, right hand to the hip, bend into that supporting knee, and then you're just going to push your way up. We're going to come into gate pose, so lifting up, looking up towards the sky, rotating through the chest. And just take another breath here, opening this time through the left side of the body. The left shoulder draws away from the ear. And then pushing back down, so left hand comes back down to the floor, lift the right leg up, right arm extends to the front of the mat. Right elbow draws towards right knee as you bend the knee. Kick away, flex through the heel, extend through the arm. And draw elbow to knee. And extending away. Last one here. Finding that breath. If you're finding it a little bit more tricky here, then you can extend, drop that right leg to the floor. So we're going to bring the right leg down, right arm down. Coming into the opposite side now. So extending the left leg behind you. Lifting the left leg up, flexing through the heel, really lengthen through the back of the hamstring into the calf. And drawing left knee to chest. Inhaling, extending away, flexing through heel. Exhaling, knee to chest, puffing up through the upper back, extending away. And breathing continuously here through the movement rather than puffing and exerting yourself, which is going to make the movement a lot harder. Extending one last time now and just pausing here, checking in with yourself, finding that levelness in the hips, either extending the right arm or just staying where you are, flexing through the heel, and drawing the elbow to the knee as you exhale. Inhaling, extending out. Exhaling, elbow to knee, puffing up through the upper back. Inhaling, extending out. Last one here, exhaling. Inhaling, extending out. And then from here, dropping that right hand down a moment, flexing through the knee, through the ankle, pushing up, engaging the bum cheek. Breathing here, hugging your baby to your spine, and then maybe reaching around and holding onto that foot and pushing the foot into the hand. See if you can glide your right shoulder back to the front of the mat again. And taking another breath. And one more. And breathing steadily here. And then releasing the foot with care, placing the left inside arch of the foot down to the floor. Right hand comes back to the mat. Swing the right shin out to the side and then sweep the arm up towards the ceiling, taking a glance to look up towards the hand, towards the ceiling. Be conscious of hugging your shoulder too close to your ear here. Breathing. And then maybe extending and lifting that left leg, lifting the left arm to point towards the end of the mat. So you've got that lovely long line and that opening through the left side of the body. And take another 2 breaths. Really nice. Left hand to the hip, placing the left foot down to the floor as you come up towards your gate pose. And sweeping up and over, finding that opening this time through the right side of the body. And breathing into that right side, shoulder draws away from the ear. Taking one more breath. And then just cartwheeling the arms, so right hand comes back down to the floor, the left leg lifts off the floor, left arm reaches, and then we're going to elbow to knee on this side. So exhaling, drawing away, inhaling, drawing together. And taking 2 more here, really controlled and moving with your breath. And one last one. Really nice. And coming back down to your tabletop pose. Check in with yourself, sit back on your heels and come to a child's pose. So toes touch, knees are wide, and walking the hands out in front of you here. And just allowing the head to soften. Maybe if you need a little bit more support here, a cushion or a block underneath your head. And breathing in, connecting in with breath. And one more breath here. And from here, we're going to come to our first downward facing dog. So pushing your way up, spreading your fingertips and tucking the toes. And you're going to shift your bum back towards your heels. So the hands, again, are really splayed wide like that starfish that we did at the beginning with our tabletop. So the index and middle fingers are pointing towards the front of the mat. So your hands are like this. And then we're going to tuck the toes, draw the bum back towards the heels, and keep the knees really bent as you start to lift the bum up towards the ceiling. So you may want to bring the legs a little wider depending on how pregnant you are. Keep a really strong bend in the knees to begin with. So you're imagining as if there's a belt around your waist and it's drawing you up towards the ceiling. So lifting, engaging the pelvic floor, and drawing your belly in towards your spine. Lifting up, and then start to bend the right knee, left leg straightens. And then moving to the other side, so left knee bends, right leg straightens, just stretching through each hamstring. Just doing one more on either side here. And there's a tendency in downward dog to shift the weight here, forward over the wrists. So what we're trying to do is bend the knees and shift the bum back towards the heels. So there's a stretch and opening through the upper back and into the shoulders here, lifting as if someone's pulling you from your tailbone towards the back of the room. Maybe start to soften the heels down towards the floor here. And gazes towards the navel. And taking one more breath. Really nice. Start to walk the hands back towards the feet. You can shift that blanket if you've got it there, just shift it out the way. Bend the knees as much as you need to here and keep the hips nice and wide. Holding on opposite elbows here in your ragdoll. Let the head be nice and floppy and soft. Shake your head, yes, no, just allow the neck to release. And taking one more breath. And then releasing the arms, start to roll your way all the way up to standing. So taking your time here, we've been on the floor for quite a while. You may start to feel a little dizzy, so just being really slow and careful as you roll up. Head comes up last, stacking on the top of the spine. So you're standing at the back of your mat, facing forward. I'll just come to face you so you know what you're doing. We're just going to come into tree pose to begin with. So we'll start into Tadasana, which is our mountain pose that all of our poses come from, that all of our standing poses come from. So it's really good to have a really nice grounding here. So lifting the toes off the floor, spreading them down onto the mat. Heels ground down as well, so that you've got that equal distribution of weight between the front and the back of the mat. Inhale, draw up through the thighs, and tailbone draws down. So you've got that equal lifting of the front of the body and that drawing down of the back of the body. Shoulders draw up to the ears and then back down, palms face forward, Tadasana. And closing the eyes down just for a moment, connecting in with this grounded pose. And checking back in with the intention, finding the pause, finding the breath, just finding stillness. Really nice. And fluttering the eyes open as you still remain that connectedness with that stillness. And bring the hands to the hips for a moment. We're going to shift the weight into the left foot. Bend into the left knee a little bit here. And we're going to come into tree pose. If you need to be near a wall, just for a little more support, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead and stand next to a wall. As you shift the weight into the left foot, you're going to draw the right foot so that it's just touching the ankle here. See how that feels. Maybe start to draw it to the calf. Maybe bring it up. Maybe hold on to it and take it all the way up to the groin, whatever feels okay for you. Again, listening with what your body needs today. Pushing down into the heel and finding a point that's not moving that's going to help you with your focus. So something that's going to help you spot and stand nice and tall and strong here. Again, connecting with the breath. So it's the times when the breath starts to wander a lot that we tend to find that erraticness in our tree. So moving with the breath, being still and soft. And taking the hands to prayer if you feel okay to do so. And then maybe bringing them up above the head. Maybe bringing the hands apart, touching thumb and index fingers here into Mudra. And pushing into the thigh with that foot if it's up towards the top of the leg. And grounding down into the foot that's supporting your tree here, shoulders away from the ears. And taking one more breath. Bring the hands back to the center, connect down. And take that foot to the center, so bring the knee towards the chest, and then just allow it to release down. And shifting into the opposite side, so now shifting the weight into that right foot. Left foot comes to rest, bend and soften into that supporting knee. And then just start to take the foot to wherever is comfortable on the opposite side. So find that spot point that's going to help you. And then just take the foot either to the calf or to the ankle or all the way up to the thigh. Make sure that foot's not resting on any joints, so don't let it rest on the knee directly. And then taking your hands to the center of the chest, thumb presses into the sternum here and find that focus point. Lift up nice and tall with the chest and maybe bring the arms up overhead and connecting index and thumb and draw the shoulders away from the ears. Pull up with the chest and draw down with the tailbone, connecting to breath. Really nice. Taking one more breath here, finding stillness, finding your pause. These moments of balance and breath connection that can really help here with feelings of anxiety and stress, and just finding a moment to just switch off, connect in with what's going on in the body rather than that outward distraction. And taking the hands back to center and back down to the chest. If you're not already out of this, see if you can with control move the knee back to center and gently place it down to the floor. Really lovely. Back to your Tadasana mountain pose. So we're all standing at the back of the mat, feet are hip width apart. We're going to take a big inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Bend through the knees as you draw yourself down towards the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to get there. Take an inhale and bring the hands to the shin, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, soften the knees, hands to the floor. Bend into the knees, push into the feet really strongly as you lift up into arms sweep above the head. Draw the thumbs to the chest. And taking that one more time, inhaling, sweeping up overhead. Exhaling, bringing the hands either side as you bend through the knees down towards the floor. Bend as much as you need to get there as you inhale, hands to shins, lengthen forward. Exhale, bending through the knees. Now we're going to step forward, walking the hands to the front of the mat and dropping the knees down. So you've got options here with your vinyasa. Either you're going to bring your hips over your knees and you're just going to come into a baby push-up like this, so arms are wide. The alternative is your hands are slightly further forward and you're going to come into a modified plank here with your knees down, zipping your elbows in, come into a baby push-up here. And taking whichever option works for you. So drawing the body forward, down, and then coming back to the back of the mat. So we're going to walk the hands to the back of the mat here. Fingertips point towards the feet, lifting up through the chest, through the hips. Bum comes down towards the heels. Walking the hands back forward again, pressing into the mat, tucking the toes, lifting the hip up and back into your downward facing dog. Really lovely. Right leg kicks up towards the sky, flexing through the heel. Step the foot forward to the front of the mat. We're going to come up into a high lunge. So heel toe the right foot to the side a little here so that you've got space for your hips. And then zip your pelvic floor in, push into the front foot and the back foot equally. As you inhale, you're going to come up towards the high lunge. Sink down a little bit more here, and then tuck the tailbone under, sink a little further. And draw the elbows back, opening and puffing through the chest. Exhaling, push into the front foot, lifting up. Exhaling, sinking down, and drawing elbows together. Inhaling, sweeping up. And taking one more, exhaling. Inhaling, lifting up. And then from here, we're going to place that left foot down towards the mat so that the heel is on the floor now, and the back foot is at a 45-degree angle. So feet can be nice and wide here to accommodate your baby, accommodate your hips as you come into warrior one. So push into the front foot, shoulders draw away from the ears, the left hip starts to glide towards the front of the mat and really push into that back foot. There's a tendency here to allow that left leg to go a bit spaghetti-like. So if you push into the outside edge of that back foot, feel that leg be nice and strong. From here, we're going to interlace the hands behind us, holding on, puffing up the chest, and then we're going to sink the body forward. So bending strongly into that front knee and shift the body inside that front leg. Lift the arms up overhead. You may keep your arms down by your lower back here if this is too much for you. So working as always with what feels right for your body. Pushing into both feet equally. And taking one more breath. Really nice. From here, releasing the hands back down towards the floor. Left knee drops to the mat. Right knee joins it. And then we're going to come into whichever variation of push-up that you'd like. Coming in and then walking your hands back to the back of the mat. Fingertips point towards your toes, lifting up and popping through the chest. Bum draws down towards the heels and walking the hands back to the front of the mat. Pushing into the hands, tucking the toes, bum draws back towards heels, lifting up through the hips into your downward facing dog. Left leg kicks up towards the sky. And draw the left foot behind the left wrist. And we're going to come up into our high lunge on the opposite side. So push into the front foot, push into the mound of the big toe on the back foot. Engage your pelvic floor, squeeze it as you exhale, lift up into your high lunge. And coming up a little bit onto that front leg, so it's not fully straight, just a little bit further. And then tuck the tailbone under, so you're tilting the pelvis forward. And then sink down a bit more into that front knee. And coming into your cactus dips, exhaling, drawing the chest forward. Inhaling, coming up onto the bound of that back toe. Exhaling, sinking down. Inhaling, lifting up. One more here, exhaling. And inhaling, lifting up. Placing the back foot down, so you've got that 45-degree angle of the back foot. Maybe moving the left foot out even further here to accommodate your hips. And draw the hands now to the base of the spine, interlace the hands in a fist, and draw the chest up and forward as you pull that fist down towards the floor. Then start to sink the body forward as you hinge through from the hips down between the legs here, lifting the arms up overhead if that feels okay to do so. And taking 2 more breaths here. You're doing so well. This is a strong one for pregnancy, so go with what feels right for you. One more breath. Releasing the hands if you've got them lifted, and then placing them down to the floor. Right knee draws down, left knee. Coming into your vinyasa variation, whichever works for you. So shifting forward or going back over into your baby push-up. Coming back to the back of the mat, fingertips point towards the toes, lifting up, puffing through the chest. Exhaling, drawing down. Walking the hands back to the back of the mat, front of the mat, sorry, toes tucked, and lifting the hips. We're just going to take a pause in your downward facing dog here. So if this is too much, just drop the knees wide, toes touch, and come to your child's pose. Again, variations are there for you to use as you wish. You are there, you know what you feel, so just working with what feels good. If you are in your downward facing dog, and coming up and lifting through the hips, finding engagement through the pelvic floor, and taking one more breath wherever you are. And those of you in child's pose, meeting us in downward facing dog. Take a right leg up towards the sky and step it forward to the front of the mat, between the thick hands this time. You're going to place the left foot down so that the left arch is in line with the heel of the right foot. So you've got a line here. We're going to come to a warrior 2, so pushing into both feet equally, maybe pushing into the thigh to get there, sweeping the arms round into your warrior 2. Now the feet should be nice and wide here, so giving yourself space to sink down into this nice wide lunge. Bring the hands to the hips to begin with so that you're drawing that left hip back. And then maybe bringing the arms parallel to the floor. So the arms should be soft but strong here. So they're not rigid and they're not spaghetti arms. So supported and soft. Shoulders away from the ears. Maybe shift the weight back towards that back foot a little bit more here so you're not collapsing forward. And one more breath. Flip the front hand, sweep forward and back into reverse warrior. Lift up through the chest. Really nice, one more breath. From here, turning the toes in, heels turn out. This is where your block will come in handy. So just bringing your block to the center. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold here. So your heels are turned out, toes are tucked in. And then bend your knees if you need to. Maybe have your block on its highest setting or your book or whatever you've got there to support you. And then you're going to come into some twists. So you're pressing into your right hand, left arm reaches up. Left hand pushes down, right arm reaches up. And do one more on either side, pushing into right hand under face, left arm reaches up. And then left hand pushes down, right hand reaches up. Really nice. From here, bend through the knees, bring the block to the front of the mat for a moment, and then start to round back up. Turn that right foot to the front of the mat again, and sink down into your warrior two. From here, we're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So bring the hands to the hips to begin with, and you're going to start to shift your weight forward to the front of the mat. From here, reach with your right hand, and then start to draw the right hand down into the inside of that inner leg. Maybe push into the block if you've got it there. And then start to rotate your body towards the ceiling. So bring the hand to the hip, push into that front foot and straighten. So both legs are straight here. And then lift that left arm up if it feels okay to do so. You don't have to have that left arm reaching. Whatever feels okay for your shoulders. And start to rotate the body round. If you're here, maybe lean the body back a little bit as if there's a wall behind you. Draw the tailbone down towards that back heel. One more breath. And then start to bend into that front knee. Support yourself here on that front knee as you come into side angle pose. So resting the right elbow onto the right thigh, and then start to draw the left arm towards the front of the room. Now avoid the urge to hunch the shoulder here. So draw the shoulder away from the ears and then gaze this towards the palm if you're able to go here. Start to lift up through the side body so that you're not collapsing down onto that front thigh. And breathing in deeply here. And then we're going to windmill the hands down, moving that block out to the side. And left knee drops, and right knee drops. Coming into your vinyasa, so coming into your baby push-up. And then walking the hands to the back of the mat, fingertips to toes. Lifting up through the chest as you puff up. Exhaling, drawing down. Walking hands to the front of the mat. We're going to do this on the other side. So tucking the toes, drawing the bum back towards the heels, lifting up towards your downward facing dog. Breathing here. Left leg kicks up. Stepping the left foot to the front of the mat. You're coming in between your hands here with that front foot. So you may need to support yourself to get there. Place that right foot down so you're at a 45-degree angle. And then left heel comes in line with the back arch. Pushing into the front foot and the back foot equally. And then we're going to sweep the arms around coming into your warrior two. So adjust the legs as you need them. So you've got a nice wide stance here. And draw the right hip back. Left knee has a tendency here to like buckle in. So if you push into the foot of that front leg, you're going to find that leg just starts to move out towards the left side of the mat. And sink down into the front arm, front knee. And arms are soft again, shoulders are soft. And taking one more breath, gazes over the front hand. Sweeping that front arm forward and sweeping back into your reverse warrior. And take a breath here. Really nice. Back to your warrior two. As you turn your toes in, heels turn out, we're going to come into the opposite side. So bringing that block between your hands and taking your left hand to the block, right arm sweeps up. And taking the opposite side, right hand down, left arm sweeps up.
One more on either side. Pushing down, just holding here for a moment. And then releasing. Last one on the opposite side. So bend the knees as much as you need to get here. And then bending into the knees, you're going to start to round your way all the way back up. Staying here for a pause a moment and draw that left shoulder to the right knee. And then twisting over, just releasing the back here. Really nice. And coming back up and turning that front foot, that left foot forward. Right leg comes back towards that 45-degree angle into your warrior two position. Straighten both legs this time. So you've got a slightly shorter stance here. Block is nearby for Trikonasana. Triangle pose. Shifting the weight forward over that front leg. Right hand to the hip. And then slide the left hand inside that front leg. So the idea here is not necessarily to be on the floor with that hand. You want to have a lift and engagement through the sides of the body. So you're finding an opening through the chest, and then maybe lift that right arm up towards the ceiling. So there's a length to the upper body here rather than collapsing. And taking 2 more breaths. And bring the right hand back to the hip. Bend into that left knee and then support yourself as you come into your side angle pose. So try to avoid that collapsing onto the knee. So the arm is there as a support, but you're not completely leaning. You're trying to engage through the side of the body too. Right arm sweeps overhead and gaze can be towards the palm, or maybe it's towards the floor if you find that you've got a bit of neck tension there. Rotate the chest towards the ceiling. And taking 2 more breaths. Lovely. And placing the hand back down towards the floor, right knee drops. Find that left knee to meet it. Last vinyasa here. So we're going to shift into your baby push-up or into your tricep push-up. Walk the hands to the back of the mat and fingertips point towards the toes and lift up through the chest one last time. Exhaling, bum towards your heels. And take your hands to the front of the mat again. And tuck the toes here as you lift up. Just take a pause and a couple of breaths in your downward dog. Always using that variation of child's pose if you need it. Lift up, engage pelvic floor. And then right leg kicks up towards the sky, flex through the heel. And you're going to bring your right knee behind your right wrist. We're going to come into a sleeping pigeon. So depending on your flexibility in your hips, you're going to shift over onto your right hip. Make sure you've got your cushions nearby. And then you're going to take this left knee and you're going to bend it. So you've got the left leg bent. And then you're going to walk that right shin forward so it's parallel to the front of the mat. From here, you just want to take your pillows over to the left side or your bolster or whatever you've got. And you're going to start to drop bring them in front of your shin here. You're going to bring your right shoulder towards the front leg, towards that right leg. So right shoulder drops towards the right shin. And then you can rest your head on the pillow. And then bring your palms to touch. So the left hand rests on top of the right. And then depending on your level of flexibility, you may want to extend that left leg a little bit further back. Just see what feels nice for you. And we're just going to take 5 deep breaths here. So shutting down the eyes, allowing the body to just be still here, pausing. And taking an inhale for 1 breath. And then exhaling for 1 breath. And taking a breath for 2, and exhaling for 2. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. And taking a breath for 4. Exhaling for 4. And breathing for 5. And exhaling, maybe sighing out through the mouth here. And gently finding your way back up. And walking the hands round.
And then from here, we're just going to keep the knee to meet the foot. So bring that knee to meet that front foot. Take a big inhale up. And then exhaling, we're just going to turn towards that left leg. So coming into a little open twist here. And puffing open the chest and exhaling, turning over towards that left side. And taking one more breath. Releasing back out. Swing the arms around so that the right hand's about a foot behind the right hip, and then just take a big sweep with that left arm, lifting up and opening through the chest. Really nice. Releasing back down. We're going to swap the legs over now, so bringing the left shin so it's parallel with the front of the mat. Take that right leg behind you into your sort of staggered bend here. We're going to come into your sleeping pigeon on the opposite side. So start to bring the left shoulder down towards the left shin. And then dropping the head down towards the pillow. And bring the right palm on top of the left. And then maybe extending that back leg depending on what level of flexibility you have there in that leg. Should be a gentle posture, so not forcing it in any way. I'm just taking another 5 deep breaths here. And breathing for 2. And breathing for 3. And inhaling 4. Exhaling 4. Inhaling 5. And maybe creating a nice sigh through the mouth, letting it all go. Gently supporting yourself to come back up. And seated on your bum now as you draw your right knee towards the left foot. Inhaling, sweeping up and taking a rotate over towards the right side this time, using that right hand as a kickstand behind the hip. So really puff your chest up and find length here, so as if you're sitting up and out of the hips. Maybe try to keep the chin over the sternum as you inhale, lift up. Exhale, gently rotate towards the right side. Really nice. Taking an inhale, sweep back around. And bring the left hand, a foot behind you as you bring the right arm up and over, opening up through the chest, stretching out through the front of that thigh. Breathing deeply and then exhaling, releasing back down. Really nice. Just taking one gentle forward fold to finish here. Bringing the feet together. Thumbs pressed into the center of the feet and just open the feet like pages of a book. We're going to take a really gentle forward fold here. So just bring your pillows onto your feet. And then you're just going to gently soften forward. So this isn't any forced forward fold. It's a gentle softening. So just allow the forehead to rest on the pillows. And bring the feet as far away from the groin as you need to allow you to gently and comfortably soften forward. And just taking 2 more breaths. And then just walking back up again. Really nice. We're going to come to our final pose now, Shavasana. So either you can roll to your left side. If you're less than 20 weeks and you want to lie on your back, that's absolutely fine. Those of you who've practiced with me before, if you've got loads of props and you want to come to a 45-degree angle, you can stack a couple of blocks or your book and your bolster and just come to that 45-degree angle. If you've got a bolster or a rolled blanket, it might be nice if you're on your back to place it underneath your thighs, so just at the bottom of the thighs where the knees meet. And just coming into a little support here. So wherever you're at, either you're on your left side or on your back, in whichever variation works for you. If you're on your left side, that right knee is bent and on the bolster, the left leg is extended.
I'm just coming into a comfortable shavasana that works for you. And just breathing and allowing the breath to release now, so avoiding any control over the breath. Stopping those last final fidgets and movements and just seeing if you can be in this moment. No forcing, allow the mind to be still. Notice if there's tension in the jaw and just let it go. And just be in your shavasana for these next couple of minutes. And starting to gently move. If you want to just stay here for a few moments longer, then by all means do so. And if you'd like to come out now, just gently starting to move, deepen the breath. Stretching out fingers and toes. If you're on your left side, moving the props away. If you're on your back, and gently rolling to the left side one last time, and just hugging your knees into your chest. And just finding that final pause, connecting in with whatever intention you set for yourself. And supporting yourself up into a comfortable seated position with your eyes closed. And taking your hands together at the center of the chest, thumbs pressing into the sternum. And take the thumbs to the space between the eyebrows, reminding ourselves to bring compassion into our thoughts and compassion to all others. And back to the heart, reminding us to be mindful in the way that we love. Namaste. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a lovely evening. Just a couple of little things. I haven't done a quick Q&A tonight, but if you go over to our YouTube channel, Birth Collective, or if you're already on there, once this video is posted, if you want to put some questions there, I'm more than happy to answer them. And otherwise, I will we'll be posting this onto the Birth Collective website as well. That'll be available for the next month for you guys. And don't forget as well, if you've enjoyed this course or if you've got any suggestions, please do give us some feedback. That's the link to our Trustpilot feedback is in the course notes, so go ahead and click on that, as is the link to my YouTube for more shorter videos. And if you want a nice long video, then go ahead and sign up to our full course using the code POSITIVEBIRTH, and you'll get 30% off there. Have a lovely evening and take care.